Hello and welcome to the next video tutorial of a complete guide of Python programming. So in this video tutorial we are going to talk about functions. So if you are aware about other programming languages, so functions play a very important role in any of the programming language like Java, C, and we have a lot of different programming languages as well. Similarly, we are going to learn about functions in Python, how do we implement it, what is the use of it, and we also have a lot of things to learn in this video tutorial. So this is going to be a long video, so please uh, watch it till end, and if you have any doubt in any of the concept, please write into the comment section. I will definitely try to explain it into the next video tutorial. So what we are going to learn in this video tutorial is, so we have I have defined a set of topic which we are going to learn. So first thing we will learn what is function, how to write a function, how to call a function, how to use and call a parameterized or argument function. So arbitrary functions, what is keyword arguments, default parameter value. So we have a lot of things to learn in this video tutorial. So we are going to learn one by one. So first of all, we are what is function? So a function basically is a set of code written in a way that it perform a certain task. So this is a definition of function. So first of all, we'll try to see how to write a function, and which is the second thing, how to write a function and how to call it. So we are going to learn how to write a function first. So to write a function, you have to write a keyword which is def. That means we are trying to define something. That's why we write def over here. After that, we write a function name. So suppose in this condition, the name of the function is my function. So this is the way how we write a function first. So now we have declared or defined our function over here. Now we will write a set of line that we want to be executed when somebody or this function is being called from somewhere. So what we'll do is I'll try to print function has been called. So this is a basic template. This is a basic template of function that I want to explain to you. So this is the way how we define our function or we write our function. So now we are moving to next point, which is how to call a function. So to call this function, you do not do to anything special, just write the name of the function, and the name of the function is my function. So this is the way how we call a function. So if I run this file, to run this file you already know that you have to write py and functions. So once I enter the hit the enter button to run this file, you can see the output function has been called. That means we called it from here and this function is called, and whatever is written over here, that has been executed. So if I do not write this line, that means we are not calling the function, we are just defining it. So we will not get any output over here because we have not called it from anywhere. So that's why this function will not be called, and hence the code whatever is written inside it will not be executed. So once I run this file, you can see we got nothing as an output. So definitely when we are defining a function somewhere, we have to call it from somewhere. So we are calling from here. So again, if I run this file, the output we got function has been called. So this is the way how we write a function, how we call a function. Now we have next point, which is how to use and call a parameterized argument. So first of all, we'll learn what is parameterized or argument function, or the term what is argument of parameters. So in this case, now the parameter or arguments, what both are the same thing, so don't be confused in this. Sometime I'll call parameter and other time I can call it uh, I can call it argument as well, so don't be confused. So here we are calling a function, and inside the function we can define any number of arguments or parameters over here. So the values whatever we are trying to define here are called parameters or arguments. So first thing I am trying to define, first of all I'll define a new function. The new function is, I am trying to write a function to perform add operation. So I have given a function name add, And after that, this add function, I am giving a task to perform the addition of two numbers inside this function. So both two numbers will be x plus y, and these x plus y I'll define into a variable z, and then I'll display z over here. So this is the basic function which I am trying uh, to perform or write over here. So if you see here, I have written or defined a function add, and inside that function I have written two line of code, and these two line of code, what they are doing is they are adding x and y and assigning into z, and we are trying to display z as an output. So if I call this function, to call this function you have to write the name of the function. So the name of the function is add. Now, so if I run this file, definitely we'll get an error because we have nowhere defined x and y. So we are expecting that whoever is calling this add method will pass two variables x and y, whichever need to be added. So inside this I will define a variable x and y, and these x and y will be passed from a function whoever is calling this. So, and those x and y will be added over here and will be assigned to a new variable z. So in this scenario, I am trying to pass 2 and 3 as the value of x and y. So what will happen is these x and y are called as arguments or parameters, and these 2 and 3 with from where we are calling is, so this 2 will be assigned to variable x, and this 3 will be assigned to variable y over here. So if I run this file, so what will happen is the add method, it will call the add method, and if you see the add method's first parameter is x and second parameter is y. So here if I am passing 2, so the value of x will be 2, and similarly the value of y will be 3, and here the output will be 5. The addition of 2 and 3 will be 5, and that will be assigned to a value z. That means the value of z will be 5, and we are trying to display value of z. So if I run this file, let's see what will be the output. So as soon as we run this file, we can see the output is 5 as we had expected. So that means these, whatever the value we are passing into our function, are called parameters or arguments. So here we have two arguments or parameters. We have to pass two. If I try to pass only one, so definitely we'll get an error, and the error, you will see the error is like this. So type error, add missing one argument, positional argument y. That means we did not pass anything as an y variable. That means from here one thing is clear, that as many as the number of arguments have been defined in a function, we have to pass those many number of arguments from our calling function. That means again we have to pass one more variable or one more value over here. Then this will give us a result 5. So this was the topic, that how to use or call a parameterized or argument function. Now we are moving to next point, which is arbitrary functions. So the use, first of all we learn what is the use case of arbitrary function, why it came in picture. So if you see here, earlier what we did is, in the case of add function, there can be any number of value that need to be performed. We can have perform the addition of as many as the numbers. So it is not required that we will every time we will have a two numbers only. So there must be a condition where we have 3 numbers, 4 numbers and 5 numbers. We can have any number of values to whose addition we want to display over here. But in this case, every time we have to write a different function. Like if I want to perform the addition of 3 numbers, so I have to write add, I have to define one more function over here, and then function is add 3 values. And now inside this I will define x, y and z over here, and if I want to perform the addition of 3 numbers, then I have to pass 3 arguments, and I have to write the name of the function like this. And inside this 3 argument function, similarly I have to do x plus y plus z, and that x plus y plus z is been initializing to a variable m. So if I try to display m, and if I run this file, you can see the output is 10 because we passed 2, 3, 5 over here, and because this has 3 parameter and here we have also 3 parameter, then we got correct output. And the m is the summation of 2, 3 and 5, like 2, 3, 5 and 5, 5, 10. So the value of m is 10 and we displayed over here, so we got an output as 10. So similarly, if we want to perform the addition of 10 numbers, do we need to create one more function? Obviously we have to create, if we are not following a concept which is available in Python, which is called arbitrary functions. So let's understand what is the use of arbitrary function first. So this was the use case why arbitrary functions came in a picture. Now to understand it clearly, what we are trying to do is, so now we'll write I star over here, and we'll write args. You can write anything over here like values, so, or addition, anything you can give the name of the variable, but for now I'm giving args as the name of a parameter. And now you can pass any number of values to add function whenever you are calling it. So first of all, what I will write is, I will try to access the second argument of this arbitrary function. So this is called arbitrary function now. So I'll try to get the second index of args like this. Our first index, first of all I'll try to print the first index over here. So now you can pass any number of values you want. You can pass 1 only, you can pass 2, you can 3, 4, any number of value you can pass to add function, because now it has been dynamic, which is available in Python by the concept of arbitrary functions. So now let's run it and let's see what will be the value of args1. So args1, I believe that it will give a value as in 3. So if I run this, you can see that we got an output 3, because now we have passed 5 parameters over here, and all the 5 parameters have been converted into an list with the help of star args. So the name of the list is args. So like this, it has been converted into list, and now we have a value 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and definitely you can get any value on the basis of their index. In this case, if I try to get the second index, you can also get that. If I run this, you can see that you got the second index value, which is 4. So this is the way how we write our arbitrary function into Python. So now we are moving to our keyword arguments. What is keyword arguments, and how we implement it? So till now what we have learned over here like this: what is function, how we write a function, how we call a function, what is parameterized an argument function, what is arbitrary function. So if you have any doubt in all these, you can definitely write into the comment section, and I will try to give the answer of each and every one. Please write into the comment section if you have any doubt. So this was an arbitrary function. Now we are moving to our next point, which is keyword arguments. So suppose I am taking one more variable. I am defining a function which is my function, and inside this my function I will pass 2 values, and the 2 values are, the first one is id and the second one is name. And if I try to display it, I'll display the id first and the name over here. And definitely this is a definition of our function. Now if I have to call a function from somewhere, I have to write the name of the function, which is my function, and inside my function, if I run it like this only, then definitely I will get an error, because we should pass 2 parameters. It is expected to pass 2 parameters over here, but we are not passing any. So if I run this, I got an error that missing 2 parameters over here. So I'll pass the 2 parameters, and the 2 parameters are, I am expecting to pass 100 as an id and name as an tech geeks. So now if I run this file, definitely we will get an output as 100, which is like over here, and tech geeks, the value of name, and which has been displayed over here. So this is the way how we call a function, argument function. But now we did not touch the topic what is keyword arguments. So first of all, take an example of that. If you have my function but you are not aware of the order of this function. So how will, but you are only aware that this parameters take two parameters, id and name. So in this case, if I pass the first parameter tech geeks over here, and similarly the second parameter I pass 100, but I am expecting that 100 is an id and tech geeks is the name. But here we are performing the mismatch in arguments. We are passing tech geeks, which we are expecting to be a name, but inside a function it is an id. So that means we have to maintain the order of arguments. So these are called the order of arguments. So the first over here is tech geeks and over here it is id. So this function will expect that you are passing first parameter as id. So if I run this file, I will get tech geeks and 100 over here. Like this, you can see that we got tech geek and 100 as an output. So that means we have to know the order of the parameter if you are calling a function. So it is very hard to understand the order of a function if you have lot of keyword over here. So in that scenario, you can perform any mismatch in order. So to avoid that, there is a concept of keyword argument that we are going to talk in this. So what is keyword argument is that if you are not aware about the order but you are aware about the name of the keyword, so you can also do that. Like you can also call it like this: I am passing name as an tech geek, and similarly I am passing id as 100. So again, if I run this file, I can see that I got a correct output which I was expecting, which is 100 and tech geeks, because now this id has been mapped with this id and this name has been mapped with this. So this is called a keyword arguments. That means if you are not aware about the order, or if you are not if you do not want to maintain or miss the order of a parameter, so in that scenario you can use the arguments. So keyword arguments. Now the name, whatever the place, if you place it, if you try to place it over here, so again you will get the same output, because now it has been mapped on the basis of keywords. So now we are moving to next point, which is default parameter value. So there can be a scenario when some arguments are default. In this case, if I try to define a function and the function name is my college, inside my college I am trying to get a value roll number over here as a first argument, and second argument I am trying to get the name of the student, and the third argument I am trying to get college name. So this is our function. In this function we are asking to pass three parameters, which is roll number, name and college, and after that we are trying to display all them. So the first thing is roll number, second is name, and third is college name. Okay, so if I call this function, to call this function we have to write the name of the function, and after that we have to pass as many number of arguments over here. So we have to pass that. So in that scenario I have to pass 100 and the name of the student tech geeks. After that I am passing college name as my college or MIT, whatever. So again, if I try to call this function again one more time, so again we have to write it like this, and in this scenario the student is in the same college, and his name is Geeks Tech. So we have two students, Tech Geeks and Geek Tech, and the colleges are same, MIT, and the roll number are different. The roll number of Tech Geeks is 100 and the roll number of Geek Tech is 200. So now if I run this file, let's see the output. So if I run this file, you can see we got two output. First is the first student and the second output for second student. But if you clearly observe over here, the college name is same because both the students are in the same college. So in this scenario we have to pass the college name every time. Suppose if you have 1,000 number of students in a college, we have to pass the third arguments 1,000 number of time. So this is not a good way to write a program, that if you have a constant thing, we are passing it every time into our calling function. So I'll remove it from here, and to avoid this scenario, so we have a concept of default parameter value. So how does it work is, if you are not passing the college name, I will pass it like this. That means if the college name is not passed, then by default the college name will be MIT. So again we are passing only two variables over here. We are passing two parameters or attribute from here, but we are not passing third one because third one is default. If you are not passing the third one, the default value is MIT. That's the use of default parameter. So if I run this file, you can see again the same output because we did not pass from here and we got default was MIT. What will happen if I pass it from here? Like if I try to pass NIT, similarly if I pass NIT, again if I run this file, so what we are expecting to get is NIT, because in this scenario we pass it, so the default will not work. In this scenario the default MIT will not work because we have passed it. So this is the use of default parameter value. If we are passing it, so this will be applicable. If we are not passing it, then the default will be applicable. So this was the use of default parameter value. Now we are moving to our next point, which is how we can pass a list as an argument. So till now what we are doing is every time we are passing a different or separate values to our function. So now we are going to see how we can pass list, tuple, set and different other other data structures as an parameter. So in this scenario I try to get suppose roll number. I am asking to pass a roll number over here, and then I will print the whole roll number. But this roll number could be a single value or can be a list or tuple of values. So to call a function, if I try to write, if I have to call this function, I have to write the name of the function, which is my college, and after that I have to pass the roll number, and the roll number is 100. If I run this file, so I am expecting to get an output 100 over here, which I already got. So this was the way how we can pass one roll number. But in the case if I want to pass a lot of roll number like 200, 300 and 400, so in this scenario I do not change the value, I do not change the code of our function, just it need to be changed in our caller function, which is this. So now if I run this file, I'll see the output 100, 200, 300 and 400. That means we can pass a list from our calling function from here, and that will be assigned to our as an argument. Now similarly we can pass a tuple over here, and if I run this file, let's see what will be the output, and we got an output as an tuple. So this is the way how we can pass list, tuple and set to our function, and you can see you got an set as an output. Now we are moving to our next point, which is how we can return something from our function. So first of all we will learn what is need to return something from our function and how we can do that. So first of all we are trying to write a function so to perform the addition of two numbers. So in that scenario I will write a function named add, and inside add I'll pass two parameters because I want to perform the addition of two parameters, and inside that I will print x plus y as its output. So whenever I will call it from somewhere, I have to pass two parameters, which I have passed as 2 and 3. If I run this file, I will get an output 5. We already know about this. Now we'll understand that what is the use of return and how do we implement it. So first of all let's see that what is the use of it. In this scenario you are calling it from here, and you are not aware whether the addition has been performed or not. So what will happen is that there can be a scenario when your program gets terminated but you did not get any output over here. Like if I try to print, if I have written some statement over here, so here we will get an output. I know we will get an output over here. If you are not aware about this, we will learn about it later, how to create an exception and how to handle it. So if I run this file, I can see that I got an output which is 0 division error, division by 0 error. So we got an output, but we did not get 5 as an output because our code did not move to this line. So this is the scenario when we have to perform, we have to return something from our function, that to make sure this add method, whoever is calling our add method, to make them sure that the program or whatever is written in our function has been performed without any error. So to do that, we will not perform the addition over here, but we will return it directly. We will perform the addition, but we will not display it over there, but directly we will return it. So whoever is calling the function add will get one value, the return, whatever is written from here. So what we are trying to return is, we are trying to return the addition of these two numbers. So if I write z over here, I define a variable z, and I am trying to assign whatever is being returned from this function into a variable z. So again, if I try to display the value z, and if I run this file, I can see the output 5 over here, because now in this scenario what has been happened, that it has called the add method. Now add method or function, so add functions take two parameters which we have passed from here, 2 and 3. So it has performed the addition of it, but it is not displaying over here, but it is returning to its caller function. So it is returning, that means the value of it has been whatever has been written from here. So what has been written from here is 5, the addition of x and y. So the value of add 2 comma 3 is 5, and this 5 has been assigned to our variable z, and that z I have displayed over here. To make it shorter, I can do it like this as well. I can display it directly over here without assigning into a new variable, and again I'll get 5 as an output. So this is the way how we can return something from our function, not only integer, but we can return any other as well. So in this scenario, suppose I want to display the name of the student on the basis of ID. So I have defined a method student name, and I am expecting to get two variables, and the two variables is ID and name, and I want to return, I will not print it, but I will return it directly. I will return the name of the student over here. So if someone is calling, or the method student name is being called from somewhere, so they have to pass two parameters. The first one is ID, and the second thing is the name of the student. So now what we are doing is, we are trying to return the name from here. So now whenever we are calling a student name from here, it is returning name. So definitely we have to hold the name somewhere. So suppose I have taken a variable val over here, or value. So now if I try to display value, so definitely I will get tech geeks as an output. Okay, we got an error, and the error is we have made a mistake, typo error over here. So if I run this file, you can see the output tech geeks, because whatever the value we are passing from here, the ID is 100 and the name is tech geek, and this name we are returning from here, and the value of this function has been name, which has been written from here, and then that name has been assigned to a variable value which we are displaying over here. Again, to make it shorter, we can directly print it over here without assigning into a new variable. So again, if I run this file, I can see tech geek as an output. So this is the way how to return something from our function, and how to store it into a variable, or directly run it, or directly print it. So now we are moving to our next topic, which is recursion. Recursion is a big topic. If you will have any doubt throughout this video tutorial, you can write it into the comment section. I will take a separate session on recursion and whatever the doubt you will have in this video tutorial. So now we are going to move on to what is recursion and how do we implement it. So because basically recursion, if you talk about the definition of recursion, so that means calling a function again and again is called recursion. Calling a function again and again from its own body is called recursion. That means, suppose if I have defined a function, my function and after that I have tried to display something over here, hi, but after that again I am trying to call my function. So I am calling the same function from its own body. This is the body of this function. Again I am calling it from here. So what will happen is, so this, if I call my function from outside somewhere, so I'm expecting to get an output high twice, because I will explain it later. First let's run this program and let's see what will be the output. Let me comment out this line. If I run this file, so you can see that you got an output. Okay, this is not the way how we call a function. Now if I run this file, I can see an output of high infinite number of time, because what is happening over here that I called my function from here, and the cursor went over here. Now it displayed print from this statement, and now to follow the next statement again called it itself again. So again high will be displayed, this line will be executed, it will go over here, again high will be displayed. So these two lines, or this whole function, will be start executing infinite number of times, because we have not specified any termination condition. So this is the way how we call a function from its own body. Now we'll see an example of the real life example of recursion function. So to do that, we will try to find out the factorial of a number. So factorial of, we'll write a program to calculate the factorial of a number. So if you are not aware of the factorial of a number, let me explain you that. If you try to get the factorial of 5, so factorial of 5 equals to 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is called the factorial of 5. The value will be 120. So this is the way how we calculate the factorial of any number. So we'll write a function, to calculate the factorial of a given number. So to write a function, we have to write a keyword def over here, and we have to define a function like this. We have given a name factorial over here. Now this factorial function will take one parameter, which is value, which we are expecting to be a value, and now we will perform a recursion over here. So first of all, we will check to add a termination condition here. We will check if value equals to 1. So we are trying to return, we will be returning 1 as an output, because the factorial of value 1 is, the factorial of 1 is 1 only. So that's why we are returning 1. But we'll write else in other statement in this, and again we have to perform the factorial of 5. So now we'll have to do value multiply by, will return value and multiply by value minus 1. So this way this value will be called, and every time so if you see over here, so what we are doing is we are calling factorial function again, but now in this scenario we are passing a factorial, this value, as whatever is the value initially, we are decreasing it by 1. So now we are returning it. Let's see if I call it from somewhere, and we are trying to get the factorial of 5. If I run this file, okay, we got an error, and the error is that we have to write it over here. Okay, so it is returning the value, whatever is returning, either 1 or the calculation of this. So we have not displayed it somewhere. So let me first write it or display it with the help of print function. again if I run this file, I can see an output as 120, which was expected. So I'll explain this program first. What we are trying to achieve over here is, here we have passed a value 5. That value 5 has been initialized in this value, and we are comparing. If value equals to 1, then we are returning 1. Otherwise we are trying to calculate something, and the something is, in first scenario, the value of this variable value will be 5, and we are trying to multiply it on the way for the calculation or return value of this. So in this scenario we are calling factorial of 4, which is 5 minus 1. So the factorial of 4 we are calculating. So now again, after this line, the value of this variable will be 4. So we are performing 5 into 4 into factorial of 4 minus 1, which is 3. So similarly, this calculation will be begin until unless the value will be 1. Once the variable's value will be 1, it will return 1 as an output. So this calculation will be like 3 and then into 2 and then into 1. So the output of it, once it will reach 1, the value it will return as 1. So if you calculate it, it will be 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is 120. So this is the way how we calculate a factorial of a given number with the help of recursion function. Also, we learned about recursion function in this tutorial. If you have any doubt on recursion function, again I am telling you to write it into the comment section. I will definitely take care and will take all your questions to the next video tutorial. Thank you for watching.